Okay, hey guys, welcome back to another reaction video, and today I'm just gonna react to this video. This it says the worst live TV that's ever been so well, and this video it says that it's gonna be long. The videos it's gonna be long, but but I kind of wanted. I mean, yeah, I kind of wanted to react to the because, I kind of reacted to it anyways. But anyways, let's react.
The Comedian Incident. On April 15th, 1984, Tommy Cooper, a 63-year-old comedian, walked onto the stage at Her Majesty's Theatre in London. 12 million people were watching live from home on ITV.
Yeah.
Cooper was Britain's favorite comedian, and he was known as the man who made magic tricks funny by getting them wrong. That evening, Cooper wore a red cloak as he prepared for his magic act. His assistant, Sandy Lawrence, helped him put on a red cloak. He thanked her. Little did he know that those would be his last words. As the show proceeded, the audience was already laughing.
Yeah.
Suddenly, he slumped backward against the curtain. His body twisted. His legs twitched.
Oh, no.
The audience roared with laughter. They thought it was part of the act. Cooper was famous for physical comedy. This looked like another one of his brilliant gags. But behind the curtains, something was wrong. Cooper wasn't moving on cue. The routine was taking too long.
Oh, no.
Director Alistair McMillan realized immediately that something terrible had happened. He cut to an unscheduled commercial break, but they had to continue the show. Les Dennis and Dustin G were pushed onto the stage. They performed, while behind the curtains, people desperately tried to save Cooper's life. They tried to revive him, hitting his chest, trying CPR, but Cooper wasn't responding. He was later rushed to Westminster Hospital and was pronounced dead on arrival from a massive heart attack. Tommy Cooper died to roars of laughter, while 12 million people thought it was just another joke. What many people also don't take seriously are their finances. Money slips away quietly, subscription by subscription, until it's gone. That's why I want to thank today's sponsor, Rocket Money, which makes videos like this possible. Rocket Money is an all-in-one personal finance app that helps you
By the way, I feel bad for it.
cancel unwanted subscriptions, lower bills, set budgets, and manage your money better, all in one place.
Is that
You'd be
Netflix?
surprised how much money slips away without realizing it. I once checked my account and found multiple subscriptions I didn't even
Yeah, Netflix, by the way.
remember signing up for.
Walmart.
With Rocket Money, I could see them all in one list and cancel what I didn't need with just a
Cancel
couple of taps.
SPF.
It's actually surprising how much you can save just by paying attention. Rocket Money can even help negotiate your internet or phone bills,
Rocket Money.
automatically track your spending, and alert you before upcoming charges, so you stay in control. Sometimes just seeing everything clearly in one place changes the way you think about money. They've already helped users save up to $740 a year when using all premium features and over $880 million in canceled subscriptions overall. Over 10 million people already use Rocket Money to manage their money smarter. If you want to take control of your finances today, click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen.
I don't know. Whatever.
Get started for free. You can also unlock even more features with premium. Thanks again to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video. The Phoenix Helicopter. On July 27th, 2007, two news helicopters were covering a police chase in Phoenix, Arizona. The helicopters belonged to KNXV-TV and KTVK. Both stations were broadcasting the pursuit live. It was mid-afternoon, a routine chase, the kind that happens frequently in major cities. The suspect was fleeing in a stolen vehicle. Police were following. The helicopters circled above, filming for their respective stations, providing aerial coverage. KTVK's helicopter carried pilot Scott Bowerbank and photographer Jim Cox. KNXV-TV's helicopter carried pilot Craig Smith and photographer Rick Krolak. All four were experienced professionals. They'd covered countless chases before. Around 12:46 p.m., the helicopters were over Steele Indian School Park in central Phoenix. The chase was active below. Cameras were rolling. Then disaster struck. The helicopters collided in midair. The rotor blades hit each other. Metal tore. The aircraft spun out of control. Viewers watching at home saw the helicopters in frame during the chase coverage. Then suddenly, both helicopters plummeted to the ground. They crashed in the park below. One hit near trees. The other crashed nearby. All four men died instantly. The impacts were catastrophic. There were no survivors. Miraculously, nobody on the ground was hurt. The academic interview. On September 12th, 2018, Professor Rita Jitendra appeared live on Doordarshan's Good Morning J&K, an Indian television news channel. She was there to discuss political issues. Jitendra was a prominent academic and political analyst. She frequently appeared on news programs to provide expert commentary. The interview began normally. Jitendra sat in the studio discussing current events with the host. She was articulate, composed, answering questions thoughtfully.
Okay.
Then, mid-sentence, Jitendra stopped talking. Her expression changed. She tossed her head backward and gasped for air.
Oh no.
The host immediately realized something was wrong and called for help. Cameras were still rolling, broadcasting live.
What?
Viewers watched as Jitendra struggled to breathe. She collapsed in her chair. Studio staff rushed over and called for medical assistance.
Oh, no.
Medics arrived quickly and rushed her to a nearby hospital. She'd suffered a massive cardiac arrest, but doctors couldn't save her. Rita Jitendra was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The incident shocked India. A prominent academic had died live on television, in the middle of an interview, while discussing ordinary political matters.
She died.
The Breakfast Show incident. On November 13, 1986, 24-year-old Michael Lush was rehearsing for a stunt on the BBC television program, The Late Breakfast Show. The show, hosted by Noel Edmonds, was famous for its dangerous live challenges performed by members of the public. Lush had volunteered to perform a stunt called Hang 'em High, which involved bungee jumping from a box suspended about 120 feet above the ground. It was supposed to be spectacular, daring, safe. During the rehearsal, Lush climbed into the metal box. The box was hoisted high into the air by a crane. He was secured to an elastic bungee cord by a carabiner clip fastened to an eye bolt inside the box. Crew members stood below, watching. Cameras were ready. Then came the signal. The box was released and Michael dropped.
Ready?
Suddenly,
hopefully
something
he's
went
gonna
wrong.
die, by
the
the
clip
way.
detached from its mounting. The cord failed to stop his fall.
Oh no.
He plunged 120 feet and struck the
Oh
ground.
no.
The impact was
Now
catastrophic.
now he's
He was killed instantly. The
Oh my
accident
God,
shocked
man.
Britain. The death of Michael Lush changed British television forever and ended the era of live, unregulated stunts. The sci-fi tragedy.
Next.
On September 20th, 1996, 27-year-old actor Kenneth Keith Stedman was filming an episode of the science fiction series Sliders near El Mirage Dry Lake, California. The crew was shooting a desert chase scene. Cameras rolled as Stedman drove a dune buggy across the barren expanse. It was a simple setup between takes. Then, out of nowhere,
hopefully he's
something
gonna
went
die,
terribly
by the
wrong.
way.
The buggy hit uneven ground.
Oh no.
It stuck in
no.
a mound and flipped violently. The vehicle rolled over,
Oh no.
throwing
no.
Stedman from the seat before crushing him
He
underneath.
fell.
Crew members screamed for help.
Well,
Paramedics were
not
called
gonna laugh,
immediately,
by the way.
racing across the desert floor. But by the time they reached him, it was too late.
It was
Kenneth
sad.
Keith Stedman was pronounced dead at a local hospital.
Oh no.
The production was halted. The investigation confirmed it was a rollover accident.
sad.
No explosions or pyrotechnics had occurred. Just a tragic miscalculation. His death sent a jolt through Hollywood.
Oh no.
It reminded everyone that even the simplest
Maybe this
scene
is
could
not
turn
funny,
fatal
by the
in an
way.
instant. The skiing disaster.
Let's go.
On January 29th, 1994, Austrian ski champion Ulrike Meyer stood at the top of the Kandahar downhill course in
I don't know what that
Garmisch-Partenkirchen,
is.
Germany.
Oh yeah.
Cameras were rolling for a live World Cup broadcast. Meyer was a 26-year-old, fearless and focused. She was a two-time Super G champion. That day, she adjusted her goggles. Everywhere fell silent, just as the signal sounded. She pushed off. Her speed built instantly, about 62 miles per hour. She sliced through the course, every movement precise. But as she hit one of the fastest sections,
hopefully he's gonna
something
die.
went wrong.
Oh yeah.
Her ski caught an edge. In a split second, Meyer lost control. Initially, it was believed
Oh
she struck
no.
a timing post. But later investigation concluded she likely broke her neck
no.
upon hitting the ground, not from a post impact. She then slammed into the safety netting with tremendous force. The sound was sickening. Rescuers rushed to her
she
side.
died.
Medical teams
I
tried
guess
to revive her.
it's a bad.
but
I don't
Ulrike
know.
Meyer
I guess
never
she died.
regained
Oh,
consciousness.
she died.
She was pronounced dead shortly after
She
reaching
was.
the hospital in Murnau. The entire crash had unfolded on live television. The world of skiing was shattered. In the aftermath, officials redesigned courses, strengthened safety nets, and implemented stricter standards. But no change could undo what the world had witnessed that day. A champion's final run, broadcast live to millions. The Challenger disaster.
Next.
On January 28, 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger was scheduled to launch from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It was the 25th shuttle mission. 7 astronauts were on board. The launch was special because one crew member was Krista McAuliffe, a teacher. She was the first civilian selected to go to space. Schools across America tuned in. Classrooms filled with students watching live. Everyone was excited, inspired. Space exploration was coming to their classrooms. It was a cold morning. Temperatures had dropped to 36 degrees the night before. Engineers expressed concerns about O-rings in the solid rocket boosters. Cold weather could compromise the seals, but the decision was made to proceed with the launch. At 11:38 a.m., the The countdown reached 0. The shuttle's engines ignited. Flames and smoke
Probably
billowed.
he's gonna
Challenger
die.
lifted off. It rose into the clear blue sky. Everything looked perfect. Students cheered in classrooms across the country. It was 73 seconds into the flight. Then, disaster struck. At approximately 11:39 a.m., Challenger exploded. A massive fireball erupted. For a moment, nobody understood what happened. The crowds at Kennedy Space Center stood in stunned silence. On television, commentators fell silent. The camera stayed on the smoke trail. The 7 astronauts were dead. Commander Dick Scobie, pilot Michael J. Smith, mission specialists Judith Resnick, Ellison Onizuka, and Ronald McNair, payload specialist Gregory Jarvis, and teacher Krista McAuliffe. All gone in an instant. The spacecraft fell for 2 minutes and 45 seconds, crashing into the Atlantic Ocean at over 200 miles per hour. The investigation revealed the O-rings had failed, just as engineers feared. And like that, a moment of hope turned into a moment of horror that defined a generation. The superhero wrestler. On May 23, 1999, wrestler Owen Hart was scheduled to perform at the WWF's Over the Edge pay-per-view event in Kansas City, Missouri. Hart was performing as his alter ego, the Blue Blazer, a superhero character. The entrance was supposed to be spectacular.
Probably he's
Hart
gonna
would be
die
lowered
by
from the
the way.
rafters on a cable, descend into the ring. The crowd would love it. Hart was 34 years old, an experienced wrestler, but he'd expressed concerns about the stunt to friends. He didn't like heights. He thought the harness looked unsafe, but it was part of the show, part of the performance. Around 8 p.m., Hart was hoisted into the rafters of Kemper Arena. He was 78 feet above the ring. Over 16,000 people were in attendance. The plan was for Hart to descend partway, then pretend the cable malfunctioned. He was attached to a quick-release harness, the kind used for quick escapes, but it was the wrong equipment for this stunt. The release mechanism was too sensitive. As Hart was being moved into position, something went wrong. The quick-release mechanism triggered accidentally. The harness opened, causing Hart to fall. He plummeted 78 feet and fell straight down into the ring. His chest struck the top rope. Hart tumbled into the ring and lay motionless. The impact was destructive. At first, the crowd thought it was part of the act. Some laughed, others cheered. But EMTs rushed to the ring immediately. They knew this wasn't planned. Hart wasn't moving or breathing. They began CPR. That was when the fans knew that something terrible had happened. The festive atmosphere turned to shocked silence. Hart was placed on a stretcher. He was rushed to Truman Medical Center, but his aorta had been severed. He died from internal bleeding. He was pronounced dead at 8:20 p.m. The reality show. On November 27, 2019, actor and model Godfrey Gao was filming the Chinese reality show Chase Me in Ningbo, Zhejiang Province. The show was a physically demanding competition. Contestants ran, chased each other, and completed challenges. It was exhausting work. They'd been filming since early in the day. Gao was 35 years old, a successful model and actor. He'd appeared in The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones. He was in excellent physical shape, athletic, healthy. Around 1 a.m., after hours of filming, Gao was running a segment. He'd been going for hours. The production schedule was grueling. Participants got minimal rest between challenges. Suddenly, Gao slowed down. He put his hand to his head.
He's gonna die.
Then he collapsed. Fell face first onto the floor. Cameras were still rolling. Other contestants rushed over. At first, some thought he was joking, but Gao wasn't moving. He wasn't responding. Production staff called for medical help. They tried to revive him, started CPR, but Gao remained unconscious. An ambulance was called, but it took time to arrive.
That's just it.
He was rushed to the hospital, but he'd suffered sudden cardiac arrest. Despite efforts to save him, Gao was pronounced dead at 4 a.m.
At 4 a.m.
His death became a catalyst for change, a tragedy that exposed the dark side of reality television production, where the quest for dramatic content could literally cost lives. The fall on set. On June 8, 2019, a 90-year-old legendary Philippine actor Eddie Garcia was filming the television drama Rosang Agamat in Manila. He was a legend in Philippine cinema. For over 7 decades, Garcia had been a fixture on screen. He'd played heroes, villains, soldiers, fathers, more than 600 film and television appearances. The crew admired him. Younger actors looked up to him. Everyone wanted to be around Manoy, as he was fondly called. That day's scene seemed simple. Just a short walk during an outdoor shoot in Tondo, Manila. Garcia walked into frame. Then suddenly, he stumbled.
Now he's gonna die.
It was part of the production's lighting setup, but his foot was caught on it. In that instant, Garcia tripped forward, hit the pavement hard, and went completely still. Crew members rushed him. At first, they thought it was just a simple fall, but something was wrong. He wasn't moving. The impact had broken his neck. a severe cervical spine fracture between the first and second vertebrae. The paramedics arrived, and he was rushed to the hospital. Early reports claimed he'd had a heart attack, but doctors later confirmed that it was blunt trauma from the fall. Garcia was placed on life support. For 12 days, his family waited by his bedside. Messages poured in from across the country, from actors, politicians, fans, all hoping for a miracle, but it never came. On June 20th, 2019, Eddie Garcia was pronounced dead from the injury.
Oh, no.
The morning news tragedy. On August 26, 2015, reporter Allison Parker and cameraman Adam Ward were doing a routine morning live broadcast at Bridgewater Plaza near Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia. It was 6:45 a.m. Parker was interviewing Vicki Gardner about local tourism. The camera was live. People were watching at home over their morning coffee. Then suddenly, gunshots rang out. 8 rapid shots in rapid succession.
Oh, no.
Parker screamed and ran. The camera shook violently, fell, and the feed cut to black. Back in the studio, anchor Kimberly McBroom looked shocked, confused. She didn't know what had just happened. Neither did viewers. The shooter was Vester Lee Flanagan, a former WDBJ reporter who'd been fired from the station 2 years earlier. He'd harbored resentment. That morning, he'd approached the live broadcast with a gun. He shot Parker first, multiple times.
No, don't do it,
but collapsed. Then turned to Ward and shot him while filming.
Evil,
he also shot Vicki Gardner, who survived her injuries. After the attack, Flanagan fled and posted his own video to social media while driving. Some hours later, the police caught up with him. He took his own life during the chase. Allison Parker and Adam Ward died at the scene. The Cavett Show. On June 8th, 1971, the Dick Cavett Show was filmed at ABC Studios in New York City. The guest list that day was impressive. Writers, thinkers, celebrities. Among them sat J.Y. Rodale, a 72-year-old publisher and founder of Organic Gardening magazine. He was a pioneer of the organic food movement. Rodale was cheerful, lively, and proud of his work. During his interview, he spoke passionately about health, vitality, and the benefits of natural living. He joked that he would live to be 100. The audience laughed. Cavett smiled. Everything seemed perfectly ordinary. When his segment ended, Rodale stayed on stage as the next guest was introduced.
Now,
the
probably
conversation
he's
continued.
gonna
Cameras
die,
kept
by the
rolling.
way.
Then, without warning, something changed. Rodale leaned back in his chair. His head dropped. He stopped breathing. For a moment, the audience thought he was joking. Maybe a part of the show's dry humor. But Cavett noticed something was wrong. He turned and saw Rodale motionless and eyes closed. At that moment, the laughter faded. Crew members rushed to his side. Medical staff tried to revive him, but J.I. Rodale was already gone.
Something
he had
went
suffered
wrong.
a massive heart attack,
Oh, no.
dying instantly right there on the studio floor. Later, Dick Cavett described it as one of the most unthinkable moments of his career.
Unthinkable
If you'd like to see more stories like this, make sure to subscribe and feel free to drop
sorry. I keep messing it, but whatever. Yeah, I know. Well, I hope you like this reaction, but well, no. Well, and I want to tell you, guess what? Well, I guess my cousin GCG is gonna do another apology on tomorrow. It means maybe I'm gonna react it on maybe tomorrow or Friday. Maybe on maybe on Friday. Maybe there's no. Well, I guess on Thursday. I don't know. And well, I don't know yet though how I'm gonna edit them is. Maybe my mascot is gonna react. It means, I guess it means, yeah. But I I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. Means, yeah. Means. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in maybe tomorrow or Friday. Means, goodbye.